Full comprehensive guide incoming.
Everything you've shown me.
Secret chest locations revealed. Mod recommendations for survivability.
About the light.
All locations for the collectibles. Weapon suggestions.
Silence is yours.
Welcome to the Equilibrium Dungeon Guide, baby.
You know what comes next. Give me strength. Take everything I have.
Let's talk about weapons for this dungeon really quick. You can go crazy with Mint Retrograde. Make sure you have either Elemental Honing or Bait and Switch. Bait and Switch is going to give you plus 30%. Elemental Honing, if you're able to max out at 5 stacks, that's going to give you plus 35%. So if you can get those 5 stacks, I would suggest running Elemental Honing. If not, again, go for Bait and Switch. And then also, you want to have Rewind. That's right, Rewind, not Re. We say W's around here. But anywho, that's what you want on your Mint Retrograde. Next is Sire Turner. Go ahead and equip Elemental Honing, and then also throw on Trickle Charge. Moving on, we have Finalities Augur. This is the Sunder Doctrine Dungeon Exotic. If you don't have it, go farm for it. Also, make sure you get the Catalyst to take advantage of Bait and Switch, which provides that extra 30% in damage. Another good option for damage, we have Wolfsbane, the exotic sword. Now, I do have a guide showcasing how to unlock this sword and each catalyst. So go ahead and check that out on the YouTube channel. But yeah, you can go crazy with this as well. Make sure you have attrition orbs equipped on it. Believe it or not, Praxic Blade is a good option for doing damage. You know, make sure you have offensive form equipped on it, of course, to maximize that damage. Then make sure you have a mod to increase your impact. Having more impact means more damage. So yes, if you have Forceful Blade 3, go crazy. Throw that on. Then go crazy with Impact Core. Make sure you got that. And then honestly, whatever you prefer for the final slot. I'm rocking out with Echo and Blade. Now when it comes to traversals, I recommend using a sword with the Eager Edge perk. Also, I recommend using a grenade launcher such as Theodolite with implosion rounds, of course. You can also use Gizmo Weft if you do not have Theodolite. If you don't have Gizmo Weft, go crazy with the Mountaintop. And if you don't have Mountaintop, go crazy with a Lethanel. Alright, so to kick it off, we're going to go ahead and progress forward and let's take care of these ads.
One is after the relics in Venus's Praxic Temple, including a dossier.
Once the ads have been addressed, go ahead and follow along with your boy. Alright, so really quick, if you do not have a Eager Edge sword, don't worry. I'm showing you the normal route. But for those who do have the Eager Edge sword, stand by. Alright, here you go. For those who have Eager Edge, you can just simply skip the previous route I just showed by swiping across. Once you make it to this area, go ahead and kill the behemoths. Upon doing that, the turrets will despawn. Now let's make our way to the top to place the rally banner. Alright, so place the rally, and then really quick, here's the first satellite you need to be mindful of. Here's the second satellite. And then, last but not least, here's the third satellite. Now when we kick this encounter off, you're going to see ads spawn here. And then on the other side as well. Now, during this encounter, Cabal pods will spawn in. First location is here. The second location is here. And then the final location here. So just be mindful. Look out for the Cabal pods. Avoid them. Now, before we get into it, go ahead and throw on concussive dampener on your chest piece. And also throw on 2 copies of solar resistance. Now let's kick off this encounter. Approach the harvester and interact with it. Let's go. All right, let's kill these ads. Once all the ads are cleared, guess what? 3 Cabal pods will spawn in. So remember the 3 locations I identified earlier. Do not end up like me. All right, run it back. Clear all the ads. Look out for the Cabal pods. Inside of the Cabal pods, you will see a nameless apprentice. Yes, he has a shield. You cannot do damage, but it's all good though. Check it out. We're gonna lure him towards the satellite. He's gonna start this animation. You're gonna interact with that satellite and get the out of dodge. If done correctly, you'll see an array satellite drops a connection at the lower left-hand corner of your screen. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing for the second satellite in an effort to remove that barrier. Head back to the first satellite once this is done, and you will proceed to race around the arena on a sparrow. At some point, you will see creeping shadows at the top of your screen. This can kill you if you fail to drive through a shadow pool. Keep in mind, the shadow pools, the spawn locations are random. Also, at the top of your screen, you see gathering shadow, right? The more we drive through shadow pools, the more we'll fill up the meter. Our goal is to completely fill up the meter to the point where we see shadow novice. Now, as you approach the final pool, go ahead and do a U-turn and let's exit out. At this point, you should see Shadow Novice at the top of your screen with a timer. Once you exit the vehicle in the lower left-hand corner, you will see that your grenade has been replaced by a shadow ability. We're going to use that ability to stun the nameless apprentice and remove the shield. Once he starts to charge, go ahead and hit your grenade key in order to use the shadow ability to stun him. At this point, kill the apprentice and be ready to move on. Each time you kill an apprentice, they'll drop a shadow pool on the ground. Just simply walk through, run through, whatever the case may be, in order to refresh that timer at the top of your screen for Shadow Novice. Cabal pods will drop in, each carrying a behemoth, so be ready to address those as you progress the encounter. Now we're gonna look for another nameless apprentice. Go ahead and stun, remove the shield, kill the apprentice, and then move on to the next one. You have to kill a total of 6 for this encounter. In order to swap back and forth between your shadow ability and your grenade, you need to make sure you click in the right thumbstick if you're playing on console. If you're on PC, you're gonna hit the Z button on your keyboard. So make your way around the arena, kill each nameless apprentice, and also kill each behemoth, and now conclude this encounter. Congratulations, the first encounter has been completed. Go ahead and collect your rewards and let's move on. Go ahead and board the harvester. All right, follow me, let's go. Yeah, disregard that. For those who don't have that grenade launcher or eager edge sword, just follow me. Take this route. Don't worry, I got you. Now we're approaching the first friendship door. Friendship door just meaning all guardians have to be present at the door in order for it to open. In this room, you can either kill all the ads or just simply skip them. Now let's go pick up the first collectible. And there it is. Go ahead and collect it. You can kill all the ads here, or you can run past them. Me, I'm gonna kill them. Go ahead and shoot all 3 fuses, and then continue to follow your boy. Kill the ads, and then shoot the fuse on the wall. Rinse and repeat. Here you will find the first secret chest. Be careful when killing these ads. You don't want to get sucked out of the window. Look at that. All right, so really quick for this encounter, you're gonna go ahead and throw on melee resistance, solar resistance, and void resistance on your chest piece. Let's go. We are at the first boss encounter. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go ahead and start it up. All right, so now he's going to just chase you around this room. He's annoying. So if you would like to despawn him, go ahead and stand in this corner right here. Hopefully Bungie doesn't patch that. Next, we need to wait for one of these doors to open. Bad news is we can't just simply walk up to the door and it opens, right? We have to wait for ads to run through the door. Then at that point, we can exit the middle room. Now, let's head inside the first room and let's kill the yellow bar in order for it to spawn a shadow pool. We're gonna need to gather shadow and fill up that meter that's at the top of the screen. Next, you're gonna go back into the hallway and look for a scion. Kill the scion and then pick up the shadow buff. If you don't want to wait for another scion to spawn in the hallway, you can simply go into another room, kill the yellow bar, pick up the shadow buff. Now really quick, while you're inside the room, if you see Harrow's decree at the top of your screen, that means the boss is about to teleport to your room. So be ready to stun him. Ensure you have the Shadow Novice buff. Once you have Shadow Apprentice at the top of your screen, go ahead and melee all 3 switches in each room, using the Shadow buff, of course. As you exit the room, you should see 3 green lights above the door. That indicates all 3 switches have been toggled. Now let's hit up the second room. Do me a favor really quick. When you walk into that room, turn around, look up at the door. You see those 3 red lights? Again, those are tied to the switches. Each time you hit a switch, it's gonna convert a red light to a green light. Now let's head to the final room. Be sure you're continuously killing scions and refreshing that shadow timer at the top of your screen. Now that we finished all 3 rooms, it's time to make our way back to the middle and prepare the generators. Be warned, the boss will teleport to that room and launch his attack, so be ready to stun him. Then start the process of energizing the generators by hitting the switches that you see in the gameplay. Each generator requires 3 switches. Be sure to keep the boss away from the generators, because we're going to use the generators to actually extend damage. So let's go ahead and again get all 3 generators prepared. Now that all generators are prepared, let's go ahead and shoot the fuse over this door to open up the trap door. Once you lure the boss into the trap, he's going to jump out. Strike him 3 times with your shadow ability. Be sure to kill a scion in order to spawn a shadow pool. Then go ahead and run through it to refresh that shadow timer at the top of your screen. Once you lure the boss into the final trap, he's going to jump out, strike him 1 time, and then that's damage. Alright, so for damage, you got 33 seconds to cook up. But check it out. At some point before that 33-second mark, lure him towards the generator. Once he strikes the generator, you'll see Harrow struggles to recover his shields. That adds another 9 seconds to your damage phase. Then you're gonna lure him to another generator at some point, right? And that's gonna add another 9 seconds. So each generator provides an additional 9 seconds to damage phase. Because there are 3 generators in total, guess what? You can add a maximum of 27 seconds to your damage phase. What is that? 33 seconds plus 27? That's 60 seconds. Go crazy. Let's go. Now we're at final stand. All right, so check it out. He gonna break the door, then he's gonna jump to the other side. Just follow him. Kill the turrets, you know what I'm saying? And then make it to the other side. And guess what? Carry on with that damage. Let's close it out. At some point, if you don't do enough damage, guess what? His shield is gonna regenerate. And now, you need to shoot the fuse in the middle to open up the trap door, lure him into the trap, and that's going to take away some of his shield. Then, of course, hit him with the melee. You can also energize the generator by hitting the switch on the wall, but of course, you're going to need that Shadow Apprentice buff. If you don't want to do that, just continue to use that trap door in the center. Don't worry, the fuse will return. Just simply shoot it, lure him into the trap, and that's it. GG's. Finish him off. All right, now collect your rewards. GG's, good job. Go ahead and run through that shadow pool to receive Shadow Apprentice at the top of your screen. Run towards the switches on the wall and just simply melee them. If you still don't have enough for Shadow Apprentice, wait for that old pool to despawn. A new one will spawn in. At that point, just run through. Now you should have Shadow Apprentice. Go ahead and interact with that switch. Continue to follow along with your boy. Once you make it to this area, go ahead and kill the behemoth and clear out the rest of the ads. Once you activate the cranes, follow your boy. I'll take you to the second collectible. go. Right here. Go ahead and collect it. All right, so now I'm going to show you the normal route to make it back to the cranes where you can progress further into the dungeon. Then I'm also going to show you a shortcut for those who are rocking an eager edge sword with a grenade launcher such as Theodolite, Alethanum, or Mountaintop, or Gizmo. And there you go. Now, time for the shortcut. And that's it. Kill the ads in this area or just simply run past them. The choice is yours. The final collectible. Let's go get it. And here it is. Go ahead and collect it. Kill all the ads in this room or just simply run past them. You know the drill. Let's hit up the last secret chest. And there it is. Let's carry on. So for this room, we need Shadow Apprentice because there is a switch we need to toggle. So let's look for the yellow bars. Here we go. They're going to drop the shadow pool. Just run through the pool to pick up the buff. And again, the goal is to hit Shadow Apprentice. You may need to run to the other side, kill the other two yellow bars, run through both pools, and then boom, there you go. You got Shadow Apprentice at the top of the screen. Now, if you look up, you can see the switch, right? I'm going to show you the normal path that we're going to take to make it up to the switch. And then for those who are rocking the grenade launchers that I called out earlier, I'm going to show you a nice little shortcut. And here we are at the switch. Now, for the shortcut. And there you have it. Moving on. Kill the ads or run past them. And here we are, another friendship door.
Using arc to power a fledgling throne world. The truth.
For this final boss encounter, go ahead and throw on arc resistance, concussive dampener, and solar resistance. Proceed to open the door. Now, kicking this off, the boss is going to launch an attack in the middle. Make sure you block with a sword or just simply avoid the middle. Dogs will spawn from this door and that door. We need to kill the dogs in order to spawn in the Nameless Apprentice. First, we need Shadow Novice, so kill as many yellow bars as needed to fill up that meter. At the top of the screen, you see Lore of the Dark and a timer, right? Once that timer reaches 0, you will be teleported to the Shadow Realm. Now, you also see 5 boxes. Don't worry, I'll explain that once we're teleported. In the meantime, continue to kill yellow bars to build that Gathering Shadow meter. Once you see Face Your Death, stop what you're doing, shoot the boss's hands. After killing the 4 dogs that spawn in, go ahead and stun the Nameless Apprentice. Again, you need Shadow Novice. Upon killing the apprentice, guess what? 1 out of the 5 blights on the wall will then be de-shielded. So that means you have to kill 4 more apprentices in order to de-shield the rest. Now at some point, once the timer at the top of your screen reaches 0, you're gonna get teleported to the Shadow Realm. So check it out, you see 5 blights, right? You have to de-shield the blights on this side as well and then destroy the 5 blights. In order to de-shield these specific blights, you need to A, kill a blistered shadow, or B, compel the shadow. As you can see at the top of the screen, killing a shadow will remove a box underneath Lore of the Dark. Also, if you need to extend the timer, just simply shoot the blight. Be sure to collect the shadow buff from different pools that will randomly spawn in the arena. At this point, I've killed 3 shadows. Now we have 2 more remaining, hence why you see 2 boxes at the top of the screen. Be sure to shoot the blights or have a teammate just hang out in the middle and take care of that for you. Remember, shooting a blight extends the timer. Now at this point, I'm going to interact with this switch because I have Shadow Apprentice, right? I'm going to walk through this pool to get Shadow Master. You need Shadow Master in order to compel the shadows. So as you see, I'm climbing. I'm going to approach this shadow and then compel him. Each time you compel a shadow, that'll fill in one of the boxes at the top of the screen. It will also consume your Shadow Master buff. But don't worry, each time you compel a shadow, that'll spawn in a shadow pool nearby. Alright, so looking at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see something weird with the boss's health bar, right? It has a threshold, right? So each time you kill a shadow, that's going to further extend that threshold. Now you may be wondering, why does this even matter? I got you. In the event you failed to meet that threshold during damage, guess what? The entire arena will light up with lightning, and you don't want that to happen. So be strategic with how you approach this. If you only want to extend the threshold once or twice, go ahead and kill 1 or 2 shadows and then compel the rest. Remember, when you compel, that does not move the threshold. It simply maintains the threshold. That's it. Once you destroyed all the blights in the Shadow Realm, now it's time to go back to the other side and prepare for damage. Keep in mind, each time you teleport back, very shortly afterwards, you're gonna have to deal with tickle fingers, so be prepared for that. Alright, so remember earlier when I mentioned if you fail to do enough damage to meet the threshold on the boss's health bar, the entire arena will light up with electricity, lightning, whatever you want to call it, right? So in order to prepare for damage, we're gonna disengage the pylons. Now the pylons are what's actually emitting electricity. So we need to disengage those by simply interacting with the switches. You need Shadow Apprentice in order to interact with the switches. So look around the arena. In the event you see protruding pylons from the ceiling, go ahead, hit the nearby switch to disengage it. Once you are done with that, you are good to go for damage. Now you don't have to worry about electricity emitting from the pylons. Now, if you fail to do enough damage to meet that threshold on the boss's health bar, guess what? Again, as I mentioned, the arena is going to light up because all the pylons will be protruding from the ceiling at that point. So make sure you meet that threshold when it's time to do damage. In the event you fail, you have to go back and interact with all the switches in order to disengage the pylons. Now shoot the final blight, start damage, cook up the boss, and that's a GG. Hope you enjoyed, fellow demigods.